So now diplomacy appears to be deadlocked in the Middle East as Iran continues to play hardball with the U.S. over the Strait. Chief foreign correspondent Trey Yingst reporting out of Tel Aviv with the latest that we know as of today. Trey, hello.
Yeah, hey, Bill, good morning. With no diplomatic breakthroughs, tension remains high across the Middle East. Major questions loom about the Strait of Hormuz and if a deal can be reached to reopen this critical international waterway. The Persian Gulf Strait Authority, an Iranian government agency, said Wednesday claims and repeated posts by U.S. officials that the Strait of Hormuz is no longer blocked do not change the reality. The Strait of Hormuz remains blocked and will not be reopened until Iran's conditions are accepted. This came after President Trump posted yesterday on Truth Social, saying in part the USA has total control over the Strait of Hormuz. Our naval blockade is being called by everyone a wall of steel, and there is nothing Iran can do about it. Still, less than 10% of the average number of pre-war vessels are passing through the strait each day, as some analysts warn of possible escalation in the region amid ongoing economic pressure on Iran due to the U.S. naval blockade.
And it goes on and on and on. Here we are, 4 months into it. The Iranian leadership, and that man is one of those leaders, they don't really care about the suffering of their own people. What they care about is surviving and having a level of control coming out of this so they can rebuild and recover their regime.
The focus on Iran comes as we're also tracking developments between Israel and Lebanon. Talks are set to resume in September in Rome, aimed at normalizing ties between the two countries and disarming Iran-backed Hezbollah. Still, details have to be worked out about proposed security zones.
Under no circumstances do we retreat, not in Lebanon, not in Syria, not in Gaza, from the security zones. The lesson of October 7th is that we protect the residents by having the IDF present in these places and defending them.
The Israelis are still conducting precision strikes in southern Lebanon as well as the Gaza Strip, yesterday killing a senior Hamas commander there. Bill?
Trey, thank you. Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. Thanks.
When they look at this phase here, they see the midterms coming. My gut feel is that they're likely going to get more aggressive because they don't believe the president will do much prior to the midterms in terms of military reaction. They have miscalculated with him time and time again. And he is totally capable of shutting them down once and for all and crushing them with the ability that he has literally at his fingertips.
A stark warning from retired General Jack Keane. A big sticking point between the U.S. and Iran is the Strait of Hormuz, as Trey just mentioned. So commercial vessel traffic remains at a crawl, just a fraction of ships passing through compared to pre-conflict levels. Let's bring in the anchor special report, Bret Baier. Good to see you, Bret.
Good morning.
Okay, I want to play something from the IRGC Commander-in-Chief speaking to PBS, saying some of the quiet part out loud. Here's what he said.
Look, we have to attain deterrence so that the enemy never dares to attack us, so we can live with security. One way is to prolong this war until we get to the next term of the presidency and cause attrition, so that if anyone else wants to attack Iran, they will know there is a cost.
All right, IRGC Commander-in-Chief advisor there, Bret. But listen, he's saying we want to wait out this president. This president does not want this to be his legacy. It could be a long 2 years. Where do we go from here?
Yeah, good morning. I think that is part of their playbook. And General Keane is so good laying all this out, and we like to occasionally just give him a lot of time and, kind of say where we are at this moment. And his thought, and I think a lot of experts' thought, is that Iran is running out the clock here. It's like the old Dean Smith four-corner basketball, hold the ball till the end. And they are seeing pressure build on this president because the midterms are looming, because gas prices are high. I do want to do one clarification. The Energy Department and the Secretary of Energy, Chris Wright, has a problem with the tracking of ships that go through Hormuz. The numbers that we showed there, and we showed those last night as well, come from this organization Kepler that does a track of ships going through the strait every day. The Energy Department argues that there are more that are not tracked on that tracking system, and they think 30 went through Monday and something around there went through Tuesday, and Kepler had it at 8 and 14. Either way, it's significantly less than 100, but the administration is pointing out that they are seeing progress getting ships through, and then there's also pipelines that have extended and increased the flow done by Gulf Arab allies.
It struck me that that was what he was going after. Chris Wright, I'm talking about, Energy Secretary. And Tuesday, open records show that 14 vessels crossed, 11 of which took the Iranian route, which is that northern route. On that same day, that's when Chris Wright, he said more than 20 million barrels on Sunday left the Arabian Gulf region. So it could have been some vessels, and they're really emphasizing these pipelines. He says 20 million is higher than it was pre-war. I don't know how you get in to verify this, Bret, but that's their position.
Yeah, we're going to have the Energy Secretary on again and kind of go down the weeds here, because this is the issue. This is the whole ball game here when you're talking about this strait and how much it's affecting world oil prices and the pressure on the market. You know, I think the other part is the nuclear part that we haven't gotten to, and those negotiations really haven't gotten anywhere.
Yeah. Bret, I want to play something sparking another big headline. Karoline Leavitt is going to move on to other ventures within the GOP. Here's a bit of what she said on a post on X on Wednesday. She says, our country is facing an existential threat from an increasingly extremist Democrat Party seeks to destroy everything great about America. And I believe it's incumbent upon all of us who care about this country to fight back against the threat. My fight is entering a new phase, but it is far from over. A lot of accolades for folks say this is a very young woman with 2 small children who has done a nearly impossible job. And then it begs the question, who's next?
Right. Oh, she's making a valiant choice. She's praised by the president to go to be with her young kids, and that's, to be applauded. But the president's losing a significant asset at that podium, and she was very good at pushing back and forth. It was also good at interacting with the press. So they're big shoes to fill, and I think they're out looking, but this was pretty quick and a bit of a surprise to the people in that room.
Well, our best to her, good luck to her, and she says she's not going to be far, and so we'll track that. Thank you, Bret. We'll see you at 6 o'clock.
See you guys.
6 o'clock tonight.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.